Hey, welcome everyone to the first episode of the GigaWave Podcast. This is just three friends just talking about what's happening in gaming, in comic books, in movies. My name is Brian, and I am here joined with my friend Eddie.
Hey, yo.
And my friend JJ.
Hey everyone.
So before we continue, we're going to be talking about Wandavision today, obviously. Spoiler. If you have not seen it, watch it and then come back to us.
Major spoiler alerts.
We are going to be talking about everything of the last episode of the full season. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Yeah, so don't blame us if we spoil anything.
So, before we go into the last episode, I kind of wanted to talk about the whole season as a whole. What you guys think of it? You know, the whole, MCU Disney Plus show. It's kind of their first foray into it, so what do you guys think?
I loved it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a different take on most MCU films or TV. Well, I guess this is the first TV show.
Mm.
Well, not really, because you had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a way.
Yeah, but none of them have been like a Disney Plus show. When
True.
we think about Disney Plus, we think of like Mandalorian and whatever
True,
the Star
true,
Wars
true.
is doing. This was kind of Marvel's first
Right.
foray into that.
And they had Netflix stuff too. But like, you expect what kind of happens in those shows. Like, Netflix is known for like that dirty and like the grime and stuff
yeah.
like that. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was just like was it on CW or something?
ABC, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But like you
Yep.
kind of expect what that's gonna be, whereas the Disney Plus WandaVision, everybody kind of went in just with the empty easel in a way. It was just like, ooh, this is pretty cool. I remember watching the first episode, and because when I first watched it, I was like, all right, I heard like it doesn't get good to the fourth episode
Same.
because that's when that's when Pietro comes is the fourth episode, right?
Mhm.
And everybody's like, oh, like the show's not too great until the fourth episode, and I was like, all right, whatever. So I watched like the first three. I was like, what are these people talking about? Like the first episode was good because they already had that like, oh, what is this? Like there was like that weird moment of like where Wanda and Vision look at each other and it's just like, save him.
Yeah, that's the thing that I really liked about it was because obviously the first 2-3 episodes, when they're back in time, quote unquote, it's a lot of plot building and kind of setting up this world, which you need. Like a lot of people, like you said, were complaining about but you need this plot building, you need this
Exactly.
world building, because if they just went in with the fourth episode, you're gonna be like, what's going on? Like what? Like but I do agree that the first 3 episodes were kind of slower. It was like slower than it wasn't really until the kids were born where things started to pick up. But I like that. I enjoyed the fact that, it kind of explained, because obviously the last time we saw Wanda, last time we saw Vision, they weren't ending really good, especially Vision. So
No.
just seeing him like back, that like shock factor of like, whoa, wait a second, having those questions like, where is this? When is this? Like, is this before Endgame? Is this after? Was really cool, and I enjoyed that of the first 3 episodes. But I do agree that once the kids were born, it started to turn. Once we got to real life,
Yeah.
this show ended up being like it's even better than I imagined. JJ, what did you think about the whole season?
Yeah, I really liked it. I think that the first 3 episodes of just having like those sitcoms, even though it didn't really dive into the whole plot, was kind of necessary.
Yeah.
It's also like it seems like all their shows are gonna be a different genre. Like WandaVision was sitcom, and then Loki I know is gonna be like detective. But I like how these Disney Plus shows are definitely necessary for the MCU. Like, Daredevil and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You didn't have to watch those, to know what was going on. But if you want to be caught up in the MCU, you definitely have to watch these shows, which I really like. And as a whole, I think WandaVision is probably some of the best MCU
I
we've
agree.
had.
I've seen
like-
people talk about that on Twitter, and I 100% agree. Like, out of all the movies, I think WandaVision, and maybe because it is a show, so you can kind of elongate everything and kind of, sizzle, like, extend everything so you don't have to, like, shoot your load right quickly. I agree that I think this was, out of anything in the MCU, this was probably one of the best.
Yep. Yeah. Like if you go back and watch some of the early MCU movies. Like obviously the first Iron Man is amazing, but a lot of them are really bad.
Mhm.
So like as a whole, I think this MCU is or this show is top tier for sure.
Brian and I have talked about this before, especially. I mean, we're all fans of Spider-Man. That's probably for another cast, but we've always said that like he just needs a Netflix or a TV show like back in the day before they were on Disney. But if they made a Disney Plus Spider-Man, it'd be golden.
Yeah, I agree.
That's for another time.
Yeah. But and I agree, JJ. Like they're setting this like MCU Disney Plus universe so perfectly, because like let's say you're not someone who likes the sitcom-y feel of WandaVision, right? Well, you're now gonna have like our friend Mac did not like the sitcom-y feel of WandaVision. Well, he's gonna get his full with the Winter Soldier show, because that's gonna be more action based. That's gonna be more of like Captain America movies,
Yeah.
which I really appreciate, because there's gonna be something for everyone, and that's
Right.
good. We're gonna get the Hawkeye later on and all that stuff, so that's cool. So now we get to the final episode. So for those who've seen it, what happened was Agnes was the villain. You find that out in like the seventh, eighth
I think.
episode. And so this is the big blow off. This is the big fight. What'd you guys think of it?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it could be actually better, in my opinion. Because me and JJ were talking before, and he asked me like, where do you think Agatha? Yeah. Where's Agatha gonna
Agnes.
be in the future?
Yeah.
I don't think she's gonna make it past Doctor Strange 2, just because I think she's just like a linking villain, meaning like she's gonna link us to someone bigger and more badder, which is probably gonna be Mephisto or Nightmare, even though Nightmare I think is confirmed for Doctor Strange 2.
But she's kind of like prisoner now. That's what I got, because at the end, again, spoilers. We were already told you this, but at the end, she's like, Wanda's like, you're gonna stay here as the
Right.
noisy neighbor. So is she just now like a prison in her own mind? Like, because then the whole Westview collapse. Everything's back to normal. Does that mean that Agatha's now like the one weird person that's
I
like
don't know.
still not like that's I'm confused about, because like she's like, oh, you're gonna be the nosy neighbor, but then you see everything go back to normal. So it's like, where does this leave that? What do you think about the Agatha Wanda fight, JJ?
I thought the fight was awesome. Like that's one of the few fights where I didn't see the twist coming at the end. I was really surprised she was just kind of giving up her powers.
Mhm.
And then when they showed the runes, that was really badass. I didn't see that coming at all.
So the one thing I took out of this, and I really want this now after seeing this, I want a Marvel horror movie, like a good Marvel horror, like that scene where Wanda imprisons or like handcuffs Agatha to the tree with the like other witches. That was so cool in my opinion. Like I love that. I was like, oh man, if they ever do a Disney Plus Marvel horror movie show, whatever, it'd be so good.
That's gonna be Doctor Strange.
That's why I'm excited
Yeah.
for Doctor Strange. Is Doctor Strange is gonna be more horror than it is the previous one. But I saw that and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
And I
there's
think
like
that. Go ahead, JJ.
there's like one creepy move she does where she like zigzags up behind you.
Oh yeah, that
Like,
was
that's
so
super,
cool.
like, horror-esque. That's
Mhm.
super cool.
I just think that WandaVision's really just a big teaser trailer for what's coming in Doctor Strange, because there's so many little hints of like that horror element, like you just said, how she sneaks up behind him and stuff like, or her,
Mhm.
like those little moments of like that, or even Agatha's basement. That's pretty creepy too.
So
You're gonna see that in Doctor Strange like a lot more like amplified, I think.
so where was he? Considering this show leads to Strange, he wasn't there. I expected him to be the after credit scene or the big reveal, and just nothing. Just
Yeah,
They
I think
referenced him.
they did reference him.
Oh, I missed it then.
Yeah, they said the Sorcerer Supreme.
Oh,
they-
yeah.
Agatha said to Wanda that she's more powerful than him, which is why obviously she's going to be in Doctor Strange too.
But I expect him to be in the show at the end. Kind of when everything is right, he would appear like that at the end credit scene where you see Wanda in the house, wherever that is. and then it like
Yeah.
you heard like the whatever. I expected that to be Doctor Strange like coming out,
Mhm.
but it wasn't. It was just Wanda studying. So it kind of.
I think a lot of people are let down because there was no big reveal other than Pietro, and it was kind of just like,
Oh, we'll talk
you
about
know,
Pietro. I have a lot
but
of
like
things to say about
a
that.
lot of people expected like, some people were saying it was gonna be Tobey Maguire. Some people said Doctor Strange, obviously. And
It was
like,
never gonna be Toby. If it was
no
Tobey
way.
Maguire, I would have like ate my shoe. Just
Pizza
never.
time.
That would have been funny, but
It
like
Just
would've
the
been-
pizza delivery guy.
Just
like
comes out of nowhere.
like within like the first like episode or two, I was like, there's no way this like I just didn't feel like Spider-Man was gonna be involved with this show at all, in my opinion. If anything, it would have been Strange or an X-Men, I think, after the Pietro reveal. I was expecting Magneto like for a while, like the first like probably 5 episodes. Not 5, but when I saw the there's a big hint of Magneto, or the House of M as they call it. When she's in the basement, there's an M in the background.
I just think now, after seeing the last episode, I think that was just teasing her helmet, or like mask thing.
Probably, but I mean the purple. I mean, I that's a bit of a push, but
Yeah.
I do think Magneto is coming soon.
I agree. So we'll let's get on the topic then.
Mm-hmm.
Quicksilver. What do you guys think about Pietro coming back, so to speak? Because I'm disappointed.
I was disappointed, but it was sick in the beginning. I was like, "Yo, let's go!"
I'm gonna kind of like put it in two. Like the first part, like the first half of Pietro being in this world, I was so excited. I was like, yes, we're getting X-Men, we're getting everyone, like, perfect. This is a perfect segue.
Like during that 4th to like 7th episode, I was like,
man,
Magneto's coming, Magneto's coming, and like,
and then
didn't.
Him just being Ralph Boner. Such a disappointment.
But you gotta bring up JJ's point.
Yeah, I mean, JJ, what's your point?
So at like the beginning of the show, they send the FBI there because there's someone in witness protection. So he could have been the witness protection person, and Ralph Boner is just an alias.
Which does sound like an alias, but it's terrible alias.
Yeah, it does sound like an alias.
So the only thing is, if they introduced like Magneto, you would have to address the question of where have the mutants been this whole time, and I think they need to introduce mutants somehow, as opposed to just being like, oh, you just didn't know about us this whole time. That would be kind of lazy.
Yeah,
I think
that would be. I don't think they would do it that way. I think if they introduced it, there'd probably be something. I think either because here's my thing about having mutants is at the end, Agatha goes, "You don't know what you did," or "You don't know what you unleashed. You're gonna need me," something like that. Some quote like that. So does that mean that originally we thought that when Wanda created this world, this Westview world, that maybe that opened something, but what if at the end she opened something by stopping it? You know what I mean? So that was the one line that really got me interested. Was like, okay, what does she mean by that? And it could just be villain talk. Every villain does that. Every villain at the end when they're defeated goes, "You're gonna need me." But her, with everything that we know about Scarlet Witch, everything we know about, that whole world, I think that it probably, hopefully, leads to something big.
Oh, I hope so.
I was just so disappointed. I was so, like, especially since it's not, like, him having powers was written off with just Agatha controlling him, and that was so disappointing. I was like, oh no. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I also am curious now. Like, so at the end of the after credit scene, the second one, with Wanda, we get her hearing Billy, I think it was, calling out for help.
Yep.
What does that mean? That's kind of my X-Men thing.
Yeah, I think that goes back to what you said about where's Agatha too, because like she closed everything, but did she really? Like, where did she put all that?
Well,
so like that's what it is, like, because Vision's gone and the 2 kids and Agatha, and obviously, I mean, I don't think she got the whole community in there. I think they ran away, right?
Yeah, I believe most of them ran away.
So she obviously kept a few people within her or wherever the hell they are. that could be, from the book of the Darkhold book, because she was studying it, and it's all chaos magic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she could have made her own little realm. I'm not sure.
So, what I was super interested is because obviously Doctor Strange is the multiverse of madness.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of teased. Obviously, there's not going to be a second season. There's not going to be this big thing, like another episode or anything. Does that mean we'll see the kids? Because I love the kids. I don't know if we want to get into it, but the kids were one of the best additions to the show.
I think you'll see them grow up. I think you'll see them grow in the movies or shows, or however they're going to show that. Kevin Feige did say that pretty much Doctor Strange is season 2 of WandaVision in a way. So that is kind of semi-confirmed, I guess, but it's also Kevin Feige.
True, they'll say anything.
Yeah.
What did you think about the last after credit scene, JJ?
The WandaVision one, or sorry, the Wanda one, or the
the Wanda one.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Not really much to go off. She's just kind of reading the dark magic book. Yeah, I don't know.
So then we'll go to the first after credit scene, and then we'll go to anything else we'd have. We got Monica. We have, she's now a superhero. She's Captain. I forget her name in the comics, but
Phase or something like that.
Yeah, she's like Captain Phase or something like that. And then we see her, and then a Kree, right? They're Kree, right? Or Skrulls?
Mm-hmm. Skrulls.
Skrulls. Tell her that an old friend of her mom wants to meet her in space. I think that's Nick Fury.
Yes, because it's pretty obvious. Just because Nick Fury was at the end of Spider-Man: Far From Home, and we're all just we're like, where is this dude? And then it's just that's it. There's nothing really to go off of. It's kind of similar to the second after credit scene with WandaVision. It's just well, where is she? Where the hell is she? So it's kind of the same thing that we got in Spider-Man: Far From Home. It's just all right, we got Nick Fury and the Skrulls. Is this a Captain Marvel 2 thing? What's going on? So we have that connection where you'll probably see Phase in Captain Marvel 2.
I'm excited. I'm excited for that. She was one of my favorite characters in the show. And then the end where she gets you see her power essentially was cool. Yeah,
I wish we got more of her.
Yeah. The moment the Skrull was oh, an old friend, I was like, Nick Fury. It has to be. And then when she points up, I was like, okay, here it is. Yeah. It's no one else but Nick Fury.
I mean, couldn't it have been Captain Marvel too?
But the Skrull said he wants to meet her.
Oh, okay. Sorry, didn't catch that.
Yeah, it was oh, an old friend of your mom wants to meet you. Where is he? Up there.
Gotcha.
I'm excited, because it's we also got that, we'll talk about MCU future in a bit, but in the first couple of episodes, we kind of see the tension between Captain Marvel and Monica. When someone brings up Captain Marvel at the beginning of the season, she kind of gets pissed. So I'm interested to see that kind of dynamic. Who was this aerospace engineer?
I'm saying Reed Richards.
But they never. I think it's Reed Richards too. I was always I always think it is gonna be Reed Richards, but they never That's the one thing I really did not like about the season. The one thing was they teased a bunch of stuff, but never really kind of delivered. They teased that the fourth episode. Never showed up.
Well, isn't that Darcy? Isn't Darcy the aerospace engineer?
No, but she was already there.
Yeah.
In the fourth episode, she's like, "Oh, I know an aerospace engineer. Let me
It's
text
gotta
her."
be Reed Richards. It's Reed Richards.
And then just never pops up.
No, can it also be Jane?
But she was already there. Oh, Jane.
No,
oh,
Jane
yeah.
Foster.
But Darcy would be the one that would be like, "Oh, I know one."
I'm going with my fan. I'm going with my fan theories. I'm pushing for Reed Richards because I want Fantastic Four.
I do too. And that's why I kind of was more confident in a Fantastic Four thing here than there was an X-Men, because we already know that there's a Fantastic Four movie coming.
Yeah.
That they've already said that. So
and it's been teased in Far From Home.
It has?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to.
Yeah, so when
my
Peter
hate and
swings
Far
to
From Home kind of blocked me on that.
he swings through the city, obviously at the end with MJ.
hmm
And people say the Baxter Building is that building, but we don't. It could be Oscorp too.
Oh yeah,
Whatever,
probably
right?
is Oscorp.
But when they land, there's like a on the construction sign on the back. It says 1, 2, 3 ? Meaning like, like
it was the
Invisible
4.
Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it was a push there, but that could be a little hint of Fantastic Four coming as well.
we're getting the movie. Like they've already announced that it's
Right.
the same director as Spider-Man and all that on. But
back to the cameos or like the surprise person. People were saying John Krasinski was going to be the guest of choice.
That would make sense. I've heard that as well. Like that he's probably one of the front runners for Mr. Fantastic, which I'd be cool with.
I would love it. I would love
too.
So then we're kind of backtracking a bit, but Vision versus Vision.
Enjoyed it.
I loved it. That was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved the. Yep, go ahead, Brian.
No, the fact that he outsmarted Vision was fantastic. Like that's how it ends. Just like regular Vision, just going, yeah, I'm not Vision. Just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Were you gonna say, JJ?
I was gonna say, I loved the Ship of Theseus story. That was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, I wasn't expecting that. I was like, whoa, we're getting philosophical here.
Literally.
So my question is, so obviously there was 2 Visions. Now there's only one.
Mm-hmm.
Where the hell did he go? Like, he just disappears. Yeah. Like, just gone.
He just books it.
He just, and so obviously we get that little, is he going to be, do you guys think that White Vision is going to be in Doctor Strange?
I think so. I think so.
Explain.
Just because he's still out there. He was that piece that they made. Like they created him. He didn't die. Like I think the other Vision is gone because it was Wanda's reality. But I think you'll see Vision come back because I think Wanda's still gonna be pretty. She's gonna be crying a lot in the upcoming movies. I think like she's still gonna be pissed off. She may have her kids still, but where's her hubby at? She ain't got no hubby.
Right.
So she's gonna be looking for him and trying to find a way.
Do you think that if he does return, do you think he'll be, White Vision, or do you think he'll like change himself if he can?
Well, he can. We already know he can like generate, like matter. Like in Ultron, he generated his cape. So I see no reason why he couldn't change his appearance.
Yeah, that's how. Excuse me. Again, like I think what Vision did, like the physical Vision. So I'm gonna call him physical and the mental Vision.
Yeah.
So obviously the physical one is Wanda's Vision, and then you have the White Vision, which is the mental one. So I think like the physical Vision passed on whatever he had to the White Vision. So therefore, I think that White Vision now is fully complete. He just has to, change his physical form to make him look like the physical Vision.
I really love that scene when he does like the touch on the forehead and it goes through all of like Vision's memories in the MCU. Right. That was so cool, super cool. And that's one thing that I really liked about this show was that like, if you had no idea, like if you never watched an MCU, like I have a friend from work who's never seen anything MCU. Like she's now getting into it. She watched WandaVision and she didn't get lost. She kind of, they did a good job explaining, like, if you're new, what has happened, what's going on. And then they also did a good job, if you do have watched, like us, every MC movie, like, a million times. They did a good job kind of putting stuff in that would appease us as well. So that's the one thing I really, and I hope, Falcon and I hope other MCU shows do this. But, like, I want to see someone who's never seen Captain America be able to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier and, not necessarily get everything, but, like, be like, okay, I can follow along. It's kind of, they're giving me answers to the test.
Right.
I do want to get to the biggest retcon that the show did.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Wanda was born with powers?
Yep.
Like, so...
Mutant.
that's my thing now. Were they kind of like retconning Age of Ultron to kind of make it more comic? Because for those who don't know, Wanda and Quicksilver are mutants in the comics, and they were supposed to be Wanda and Quicksilver were supposed to be in X-Men. I forget which one, but an X-Men movie, and it was the same one that came out roughly when Age of Ultron came out. But Marvel really wanted both of those, so they kind of made a deal. And Marvel kind of changed their backstory and their origin story in the comics.
I think it was Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past, yeah.
Yeah.
So Fox wanted both of them, but Marvel was like, no, we're changing everything about them. So they kind of Marvel went from retconning their original story to make them not mutants to now retconning it back to make them mutants.
Mm-hmm.
So so now we know that those two have been around since birth. What about other people? Like, what about Wolverine, you know?
Right. I think they're going to slowly pull out the mutant idea, like we said earlier. Like, I don't think they're just going to be like, oh, we have mutants, by the way. Like,
I hope not. Because that'd be kind of lazy. Like, I think JJ, you said lazy. I would 100% agree if they just went,
I think they're slowly going to bring that out because they really haven't. Well, he did say mutants, so, like, that is, like, Kevin Feige did say mutants, like, in that press conference. So, like, you're going to get them, but I think they're going to slowly bring it out because they never actually announced any movies yet.
Yeah, they haven't announced anything yet. Deadpool. Deadpool's the only one.
Yeah.
I have a theory about how they're going to introduce them.
Sure.
You know how in the comics, like, the mutant is a gene?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know how Monica got powers by entering the Hex?
Oh, I see.
What if people in that Hex, some of them got exposed to it, now they have powers, and then they pass on a mutant gene?
Oh, I could
that could be true.
Cool.
I've heard that theory as well. So
that's kind of one of their ways of explaining it. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or just like her like opening and like spreading it out and then closing it and then completely closing it, like causes like this realm like whatever, like it shakes a realm or whatever whatever you want to call it.
Well, that's the one thing where I liked Fantastic Four better than X-Men in this case was because, with X-Men, there's a lot of like plotting. There's a lot of story that you have to kind of make or not make. With X-Men, it's kind of a slippery slope because if you go too far of having the Fox X-Men, there's going to be a lot of like plot holes in everything in the MCU. But then you can go to like, they haven't been existed yet. But then that doesn't make sense because depending like if they're born with it, where have they been? With Fantastic Four, you kind of don't really need anything because you could kind of make them have their powers anyway because they get their powers from trying to go to space.
Mm-hmm.
So like you could kind of introduce them whenever. You can introduce them, later on in the MCU or now, kind of, which is why everyone always talks about X-Men. We want X-Men. I kind of want more Fantastic Four because it's easier to make.
I just want Dr. Doom.
I do too. I want Johnny Storm.
Going back to what JJ said, I think because there was a theory also talking about how she was going to expand the Hex across the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
That would be more believable for like mutants to happen. I wish they kind of actually did that because they'd be like, all right, cool, yeah, this Hex created, mutants, but they didn't do that. But I thought that was a good theory.
Yeah, the only problem with that theory is we'd have to wait a long time before we got like X-Men.
Right.
Just Professor X in general. Take forever.
Yeah, I don't think timelines would have lined up with that.
Because if they're gonna do that, then they have to, it would have to be young Mr. X or Dr. X, whatever, and then that would kind of it would kind of put holes in everything. Whereas the easier way for them is to just say, hey, we opened the multiverse in Doctor Strange. Here's the X-Men. They were in a different world. Also, can we talk about how sad that ending was, by the way? Like, I did not... So, full disclosure, I watched the episode before we recorded. I've been told, and I saw on Twitter, that it was sad, the ending of WandaVision, the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't expect to be that sad. I was like, whoa. What'd you guys think of it?
Wanda literally just shuts down everything and just like it's just whatever. Like she just shuts everything down. She can't get what she wants.
I think the episode before was a little more sad,
Mm,
to be honest. I thought like yeah, the last episode was emotional,
yeah,
but the one before was definitely like more sad, you know?
I agree. Yeah, it caught me off guard at the end. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
we had these like two sick fights, and then like I was like, oh, what? Okay,
Yeah, I mean, how would you feel if you
True.
had to turn off your perfect reality? Like,
True.
I
Yeah.
would feel
True.
pretty bad too.
It was a
But
nice
like,
moment.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah,
at the end, yeah, when she was like, "Oh, I'm glad you picked me as your mom." That was cool. But I don't think, and it's kind of sad because I kind of want my TV shows to have a little bit of more of like, especially if they're in the universe, to kind of have more of a definitive end. But I don't think that's the last we'll see of Vision. I don't think that's the last we'll see of the kids.
no,
A lot of the quote unquote endings in WandaVision, I don't think are actually endings. You know what I mean? Like especially
yeah,
after the after credit scene where you hear Billy, help mom.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily think that it's a closing of a chapter on anything.
yeah. The biggest takeaway you can take from this show is what Agatha says to Wanda, like you said. It's just like you have no idea what you just unleashed.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see like what that means. Like cuz you get nothing from that. You just get
Yeah.
you don't know what you unleashed and just what does
Clearly,
that mean?
she's opened up something.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Hopefully, we find out in Doctor Strange.
Or I mean, she still that's the only connection we get with Spider-Man is that Elizabeth Olsen is in Spider-Man No Way Home. That's the only connection you get that you can put towards it. So there's something involved with
Is she?
the multiverse. Yeah. She is she's in the cast list.
I didn't know that.
Because I knew Doctor
Yeah.
Strange is, but I didn't
Mhm.
know
Nope, Elizabeth Olsen is on that list.
Dude, Spider-Man's gonna be awesome.
it's gonna be.
Can't
We're
wait.
not gonna get into that yet.
Yeah, that's a whole other
Um,
cast.
That's gonna be an awesome podcast.
So, we'll go now to Spider-Man. What do you think this show, this kind of, especially the last episode, what do you think that means for the future of the MCU? Like, and not just Spider-Man, but like Doctor Strange, Deadpool, all that stuff. What do you guys think?
Eddie?
Yeah, I don't know, because again, like I don't think once we figure out what she's opened up, I can't really answer that. But if I had to guess, it's obviously some kind of form of multiverses or realms. I think you're gonna see Dormammu again. You're gonna see what's his name, Mephisto, Nightmare. I mean, Nightmare is confirmed, like I said, and he's a sick villain. So is Mephisto. I think you're gonna see a major battle in Doctor Strange multiverse. And I think I said this to JJ was I think you have WandaVision, you have Spider-Man, and then you have Strange, which is pretty much like a mini trilogy that's been built.
Like a
I
multiverse
think-
trilogy.
And I think that, Doctor Strange 2 is like the Return of the King, like for the trilogy.
That'd be sweet.
That's what I think. I think Doctor Strange 2 is gonna be way more epic than Spider-Man, but I am pumped for Spider-Man. But Doctor Strange is gonna be a far more insane movie, I think.
I think it was Tom Holland who said recently that they were filming a scene for Spider-Man that was like Endgame level.
Yeah,
Great.
he did say that. Yeah.
I'm pumped, man. I think it's gonna be sweet.
What do you think this, has to do now with this WandaVision, with kind of, after Doctor Strange? Because obviously there's a kind of like a void after Doctor Strange. We got Thor and all that. Well, we have Jane. So obviously, not Jane. The nerd girl. What's her name? Oh my
Darcy.
god. Darcy, who's gonna be in
Mhm.
Thor.
Yep.
So it's this show is kind of cool, especially the end, because there's like a lot of we have the policeman, the FBI agent who's gonna be in Ant-Man. Like these characters are all going kind of their own separate ways to different movies. So do you think like when we see the Darcy in Thor, like will she talk about WandaVision? Will she tell Thor whatever, like, oh, this happened here?
Yeah, I think so.
So you think they'll just be like, hey, and just funny because like we've seen in like usually in solo movies, Iron Man and not necessarily the more recent ones, but a lot of like the solo movies, you don't really get crossovers with throughout anything in the MCU. But
No.
this show kind of like literally has like everything, like has every movie coming out like in this show.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, Doctor Strange, you have Captain Marvel, you have like Thor. Yeah, it's cool. Ant-Man. It's cool to see that these characters that like that's what I mean when I talk about like the kids and Vision is like a lot of the chapters closing in the last episode of the show is not really chapters closing because they're all gonna appear in something else.
Right.
I'm gonna say this now. I do not think that Spider-Man will be like season 2 of WandaVision. I don't think so. I don't even think Olsen is gonna show up, if at all.
Dude,
Really?
she's in the cast, I think.
She is not.
She's
Oh,
not.
really?
She is not. I checked IMDb. So I think we might get a hint, like a small little like wink wink hint. But I don't think Spider-Man, because I don't necessarily like Doctor Strange, that's kind of like a pillar of the MCU. It's kind of like one of their, essentially the Iron Man of this, phase, this next era of Marvel. I think I could see them going like that route with Doctor Strange, because then you can kind of explain it, kind of like with I think of Doctor Strange 2 a lot like Iron Man 2, where Iron Man 2 really introduced us to the whole of MCU. We got like the ending credit with Thor's hammer,
Black Widow.
Black Widow, like it kind of like opened the door to other stuff. I think Doctor Strange 2 will kind of have that same feel, where it will lead to other movies that we just don't know yet. I could 100% seeing the end credit of Doctor Strange. I know we're kind of going on a tangent here, but I could 100% see the after credit scene of Doctor Strange as being like an X-Men thing, or so
probably Fantastic Four.
yeah. I don't know, because
Actually, who knows?
yeah, because it's like whatever. What we do know though is Wanda has one of the books. So
Right.
that's the one thing, there wasn't a Doctor Strange cameo in this. But one of the things that we could take out of it is that, she has one of his books. So he's going to want it back. Or
Right.
Mordo is going to want it back.
Yep.
So. What do you guys think now, we're getting to the end of this. Do you think this show in general is gonna have kind of do the same thing with the Netflix Disney Marvel show? How kind of when Daredevil was really good, so they ended up doing more kind of the Mandalorian effect. Do you think this is gonna be that for Marvel?
Absolutely.
Like WandaVision season 2? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like season 2, and then we'll get like a I don't know, a Darcy spinoff, and then like we'll get like another TV Marvel, because they already announced a ton of Marvel shows. But do you think like this was kind of like the test run to see if it would work?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And do you think it worked?
I think it will.
I'm excited. There's a lot of interesting things happening in the episode.
I definitely didn't care that much in the beginning of this. I was like, I don't really want to watch that. But after watching it, I actually really do want to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier now. I'm kind of pretty pumped for that. That's actually only 2 weeks away, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to say I don't think there'll be a WandaVision season 2. I don't know. It's hard to say because we don't know where Vision went, and Wanda's doing a lot of new stuff with magic.
That's just that is the funniest thing. It's just he goes, I'm Vision, and then just leaves. He just goes, and it's like, okay, he's gone. Like that. I don't know. I just love that part. That's one of my favorite parts. Just like he's gone. Just bye. All right.
Anyway, I wanted to bring up one more point. And back to the multiverse mutant talk. So I personally love the Fox X-Men universe. I'd be super happy if we got them in a way. But the only problem is if that happens, then we don't get Wolverine, right? Because
so
his arc is finished.
What I can see them do, and I think I talked to Eddie about this before. I'm one for just restarting it. I know that's a lot of people don't want that to happen. but I think for the best of everything, because yeah, you're right, you're gonna need a new Wolverine. I think so. I think the best would be kind of just restarting everything. Like, but what I can see them doing, and they kind of already started it with Pietro, is kind of having it like, oh, we recasted him. So like with Pietro, we got the X-Men version, Peter, from the X-Men one. I could see them bringing in some of the X-Men universe characters, like Xavier and Magneto. Like I could definitely see them coming back. But then like the rest of them, not. Like I don't envision me seeing Sophie Turner as what's her name? Phoenix?
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey. Like
Yeah.
I don't expect to see Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. Like I don't expect any of these. How about this? I don't expect most of the X-Men people to come. With the same actors. I think they're gonna probably want to recast a lot of them.
So you think like different characters, but like the same actors?
Possibly, because I mean, Peter Maximoff in X-Men Days of Future Past, Pietro Quicksilver, is different than the Pietro Maximoff in Age of Ultron. So it's like they can kind of get away with being like with Pietro, they can kind of get away with that. Hey, it's the same character but a different universe character, and then they ended up, as of right now, having him be just a random person.
Here's where Disney Plus is going to play a huge role in X-Men. Is that I don't think they're going to make an X-Men movie. I think they're going to do X-Men TV shows, all like separated. I think not all separated, but
they're going to do an X-Men movie. There's no way they don't. They as much as I would love a TV show, there's no way. There is absolutely no way they're gonna acquire those rights to just make a Marvel show.
True. I mean, they could do both.
I mean, that's because there's so many X-Men. I could definitely see like a main movie, kind of like with WandaVision, kind of like where we get the main movie and then we'll get a show off of that with different characters.
I could see them definitely doing that, in my opinion.
Because there's so many of them that like.
Or they could treat X-Men like the Avengers, so give individual groups shows and then have a movie.
Yeah.
That's what I was. Yeah. You just have like you'd have that. You'd have the X-Force, which is like the Deadpool one. You would have.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for Deadpool.
Yeah, and you would have like the Xavier Institution like show or whatever you want to call it, or you have Magneto side of things, and then it combines into a movie. That would be pretty sick. I would write it that way, in my opinion.
I like that.
Do you think? All right, big picture question here. Do you think we're gonna get eventually, not soon, obviously, but down the line, do you think we're gonna get an X-Men versus Avengers?
Yeah, I've heard little rumors about it, but I mean, I don't trust them. But I think you would see that just because I know Secret Invasion is definitely coming. That's their first thing, I think, is because Skrulls have just been around and they don't really like they're here, but they never like have a big focus other than Captain Marvel. So I think they're gonna do Secret Invasion first, and then I think you'll see Avengers versus X-Men.
So, if they do Secret Invasion, Eddie, you know what that means?
Yeah.
That means Venom.
Yeah.
Which means no Spider-Man, which is great, fantastic.
Sonyverse.
What do you think, JJ? Do you think they're gonna do an Avengers versus X-Men in the future?
Maybe like 2 or 3 phases down the road, but not anytime soon.
Yeah. I don't expect it obviously like, this person, but this or this phase, but
like it'll probably be like Captain America: Civil War.
Oh no, I think it'd be much bigger. I think because Disney bought the X-Men, so like I'm thinking of it like in a way they're gonna have to get the most back for it, like the most business-wise money back for it. I think if they do like a Civil War type thing, I'd be very disappointed because I think you can kind of build a phase off of X-Men versus like you can have X-Men versus Avengers be kind of its own saga, like how the Infinity War saga was. And I think if they just do like a small little Captain America Civil War movie, I would be very disappointed in the same way that I was disappointed with Civil War.
All I'm gonna say is one of my last things I want to say is that if So some reason, somehow, someone from Marvel hears this podcast. Do not do the Dark Phoenix saga. Please do not do Dark Phoenix saga.
Don't recycle anything from Fox. Just do your own thing. You're good at doing your own thing. Look at comics. They have a ton of comics.
Yeah, just don't do Dark Phoenix. Don't do Dark Phoenix.
Confession, I've never seen any of the X-Men movies. Except
Seriously?
for like the 2001, like the earlier ones.
I'm not
Wait, you
even
haven't
basic.
seen Days of Future
I
Past?
have not, no.
That's a great movie.
It is. It's one of
I
the
haven't-
better Marvel movies ever.
I
in
haven't
my
seen
opinion.
any since like X-Men 1 or 2.
I haven't even seen the Dark Phoenix one just because I know it's. I mean, I saw the reviews for it, but going
Most
back
of the
to
most
TV,
recent X-Men ones are not great.
the recent ones are good. I like the Apocalypse one. All of them get bad reviews, but the Apocalypse one was really good in my opinion.
So
Anyways,
hold on, the last one I
Yeah.
saw was X2 in 2003, and
Damn.
and then X-Men Origins Wolverine.
yeah.
Oh,
But Dark Phoenix Saga is a strong story, but it's never been done right. Even in the cartoons, like when you watch that in the cartoons, it's like, dude, this is a drag. So, yeah, I just don't do Dark Phoenix. We don't need to see that.
No one wants to see that right now.
No.
Maybe in like 10 years, maybe. But all right, I think any other questions you guys have?
I think I'm good.
I want to thank everyone for listening. I want to thank, JJ. I want to thank Eddie, for coming on here and talking WandaVision and MCU with me. We're going to try to do this kind of every week, question mark.
Mhm. Maybe
obviously-
bi-weekly, who knows?
Yeah, kind of talking about different, topics and stuff like that. We obviously don't know what we're going to talk about next week yet, but we're going to try to do this Sundays because that's kind of when at least me and Eddie have the days.
Yep.
But yeah, I want to thank you guys all for listening. I want to thank you guys for joining me. And hope you have a wonderful day.
Later.
See ya.
Later.